Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Hey, good morning, folks.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat.
Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are.
There it is, team. Morning. Morning, wherever you're tuning in from today.
Early bird gets the worm, they say. Here at Positive, we offer a 6-star team. It's a team that help you at every stage of your wealth creation journey.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday, wherever you're tuning in from. Bit of a reminder there, lots of content and podcasts to sink your teeth into. So if you haven't listened to one of Sam's podcasts recently, get into it, Urban Property Investor, or maybe a Friday afternoon, Wealth, Wine and Wisdom with Jason and Andy. Might be one to tune into. So team, this morning, we're going to get into some property management talk again. As you guys know, 8:10 every Wednesday, we talk property management. That's what we do here. If you haven't met me before, my name is Cash Shosted. I represent the Property Management Group, of course. And yes, Wednesdays, we talk stories. We talk all lessons learned, all the funky things that happen in property management when you're going through your consolidation phase of your investment journey. So I was scrolling through the Facebook groups this morning, trying to find some cracker stories, and I came across one which was kind of interesting in my world anyway. So I thought I'd bring it to the table today, and that's maybe how denying a pet could actually extend your vacancy. And what would you do? And get some feedback and thoughts from you guys. I'd always love to sort of gauge where you guys are at and how you guys might handle this one. Because I was scrolling through, and what I found was a bit of commentary from someone. This was in one of the landlord pages, and I'll quickly read it out and then get your thoughts on what you might want to do next. And I thought we'd talk about the framework around legislation, what you can and can't do, what you can and can't say, how you should or could or would maybe handle this situation. Maybe you guys have been in this situation yourself. So pop a comment in the chat for me if you've got a property on the market, you've recently leased a place, or maybe you've got a tenant in place now who's requesting a pet to move into the home. Some say humans cause more damage than pets, and that might be true in a lot of cases. So maybe our old thoughts of accepting pets into the property are not so bad after all. But anyway, we'll unpack it together. So pop a comment in the chat if that's you, if you've gone through this situation. But this was from someone. This is one of the investors out there, and they said, "Hey, I've received an application from my property manager for some prospective tenants." They said the question is whether I should rent it out to someone with pets or no pets. My property manager gave me very little detail about the applicant, but it sounded like they had 4 years plus rental history. And whilst I'll get more details tomorrow, in the interim, I'm a little bit worried about renting my house out that has an applicant with a request for 2 dogs. It's a 4-bedroom home. It's fully fenced with a medium size yard. What are the things to consider? What are the pros and cons? I'm quite new to investing. And this is a common thought, team. This is a common feeling when applicants, whether they are applying for the property and you're looking to approve them, or maybe you've got existing tenants, right? There's no right or wrong to this, but I'm going to take you through some of the legislation. Now, today I'm a bit biased with the Queensland legislation, so that's where I'm at right now, down on the Gold Coast with the team, but I'm going to share what that looks like there. But of course, there are very similar conditions and frameworks that you guys can use as in regards to legislation. So check with your local state or authority, but certainly here at within the Queensland law, what we need to do in this situation. So if you kind of think about it, now we're going off just one post, right? So we're going to maybe have to assume a couple of details in between here. We've got a couple of regulars on. Rosie's here. Welcome, Rosie. Hope you're well. Caroline, morning. Pets are our family. They absolutely are. I agree. I have a little cavoodle myself. And so, like my approach to this team has always been get the information, understand the situation, and manage it. Work with the applicant or the tenant in place on what the situation is. Whenever we go through and we don't ask information, we make assumptions, we have a really strong opinion on what we think is right, you tend to cause a lot of friction. And so that's what we're trying to unpack here, is not create the friction. Let's go to the facts and let's work out a suitable approach for everyone. So in this case, it's a 4-bedroom home. They've indicated it's a medium-sized backyard, fully fenced. And what we got to think about is when you've got an investment property like that, who are the tenants that we are generally going to attract in the property? In this case, now I don't know the location, somewhere in Queensland, but being a 4-bedroom home with a medium-sized yard, you would like to think that you're going to attract a family, and it could be very likely that they have a dog or a cat or something like that. And so in this case, this is what's happened, right? Now, what is the scenario if this owner here stays strong and lets their concern, their feelings without getting more information come over the top? They're more than likely going to deny the pet, therefore denying the applicant at that particular time. Now, we make an assumption there's only one application, and all of a sudden our opinion and our feelings with maybe little to no facts causes the property not to be leased. And so we're going to have more vacancy, right? We don't know when the next inspection is. We don't know how many other people are inquiring on the property. And so obviously for every day it's vacant, we don't generate $1. So that's the first thing to consider. On the flip side, we're not just going to approve anyone, right, just to get that $1 in the door. So we've got to take an approach where we get the information. That's step one. Now in Queensland, you can't legally, unreasonably deny an applicant with a pet. So that's first point of view there. You need to understand you can't unreasonably deny pets. Now, look at your state and authority framework there. There's some things in there that's what's considered unreasonable and reasonable. But essentially, obviously, the tenant needs to make that request in writing, in which case it sounds like they have done in this place. If you've got an existing tenant that calls up, indicate that they need to put that request in writing. Now, I'm not sure if this is similar in other states, but in Queensland, you as the owner now have 14 days to respond to that pet request. And if you do not respond within 14 days, it is deemed approved. So check your emails, team. Make sure your property manager's emails are not going to your junk folder or anything like that. Don't be too passive when it comes to this, because after 14 days, if you haven't responded, it is deemed approved by law and you can't change it. So what might be some reasonable reasons why we would deny a pet? This could potentially be things like council rules, strata, body corporate, bylaws, things like that could come into play. Obviously, if the tenant has a service dog, then that would be deemed certainly unreasonable to deny that request. And so you've got to manage the situation. So again, like I say, to highlight, we want to, 1, get the information. 2, we want to manage that conversation and situation. And once you get to that approval stage, the other reason why it might be unreasonable is that it's unsuitable, right? Maybe a crazy example, like, I don't know, having a large dog in a 1-bedroom apartment may not seem reasonable for both parties in that sense. So deal with it how you need to in that that way. I guess apply some common sense when it comes to that. But when you get to a place of acceptance with the pet, understanding that your 4-bedroom home is going to attract that type of family and demographic. When you get to the acceptance stage, it's more than just the yes. The common conditions we will put on that acceptance of that pet is usually that the carpets will be professionally steam cleaned, and the second item that the place will be fumigated for fleas. They're generally the two conditions you would place in there. Of course, if there's any damage caused by the pet throughout the tenancy, just like the tenant being there, living there, or the tenant's guest, right? If there was any damage to be caused accidentally or maliciously, if I can get my words out, then of course the tenant is responsible to rectify that situation. So sometimes this is why we have a bit of a laugh, because we think, as Caroline says, pets are our family, and sometimes they're actually more well-behaved than some humans and guests sometimes. So I know that to be true over the 14 years doing this. So it's certainly something to think about. So manage the situation, team. What else can you do? Once you've accepted the pet, you've responded accordingly, you've got some information. Certainly you move to the terms and conditions on expectations of managing that through the tenancy. But certainly for your property manager, you want to understand, hey, listen, how regular are you doing my routine inspections? When you go and do my routine inspections, what are you checking for, right? Because in the report, I don't know about you guys, but how do you get photos and you get notes, but to the property manager, I've been in places that you walk straight in and you can smell it straight away, and you know what's going on, right? You guys might have come across that, but right, you can't put that in a report, so you're relying on your property manager to use their sensors in that case. So there's some things during the tenancy we can do to manage the situation, monitor the situation, measure it. Certainly, I think that's a better way and a better approach versus the alternative in creating friction, having disputes, lack of trust between the property manager and the tenant, and therefore the landlord. And, ultimately things get out of hand, damage is caused, damage doesn't get rectified. And all of a sudden you've got a bonfire, not a spot fire, right? And so the thing that underpins this whole thing, in this case, this particular landlord said, hey, I'm feeling a bit uncertain, right? If they approached it in this way, we can do it in a more structured, safe way. But of course, the thing that underpins this particular topic is just having the right landlord's insurance as well, Tim, right? If you want to feel safe, create some certainty in your life when it comes to these sorts of things, whilst minimizing your vacancy and getting that maximum rent applicable, then the right landlord's insurance these days has the appropriate pet cover within their policy, and that can there's obviously different thresholds as well within that. So have a look at your policy if you haven't recently. If you need a recommendation, of course I can send one through to give you guys a bit of information there to compare and look at. So certainly that's how I would do it. Don't know about you guys, but I thought that was an interesting story. I'm sure I'll find some more next week, but I might leave it there if there's no other questions. Any topics you want me to cover, team? Emails below. Send it on through. We'll put together a little 10-minute talk and come on together and unpack it and solve some problems. But don't forget as well, tomorrow, 8:10, the financial planning team will be back. So listen, if you want to find out what they're talking about, you'll have to wait till then. But otherwise, that's it from me today for property management. So that's what I'd do if I had pet applications flying in my direction. That's how I'd manage it. So hopefully that helps. But otherwise, team, thanks for coming along. Thanks for playing full out. And we'll see you 8:10 tomorrow with the financial planning team. See you then.
Thanks for watching another episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6 Star team here at positivementor.com.au.